Stop, don't spend your 1935 wheat penny. This tiny 1-cent coin is nearly 100 years old, and the right condition or rare detail could make it much more interesting to collectors. Check the date, mint mark, and color before you let it go. You might be looking at a coin worth far more than 1 cent, so watch until the end. The first up. Before you throw that old 1935 Lincoln wheat penny back into a jar or spend it for 1 cent, take a much closer look. This tiny piece of American history is more than just an old penny. The date, mint mark, condition, color, and even tiny details on the coin can completely change how collectors look at it. Most 1935 pennies are not fortunes, but some exceptional examples have reached surprisingly high prices. So if you have a 1935 wheat penny, don't clean it, don't spend it yet, and don't scroll away, because in this video, we're going to look at exactly what makes this old penny worth checking. The 1935 Lincoln wheat penny belongs to one of the most recognizable American coin series ever produced. It carries the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, while the reverse shows the famous 2 wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. When you hold one in your hand today, you are looking at a coin that was made during the Great Depression era, when everyday Americans were dealing with an economy very different from the one we know today. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose Lincoln portrait had already become one of the most famous designs in American coinage. The wheat reverse remained on Lincoln cents until 1958, so the 1935 penny sits right in the middle of that historic wheat cent era. Now here is where things become interesting. If your 1935 penny has no mint mark, that means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia produced an enormous number of these coins, 245, 388, 000 pieces for 1935. That means an ordinary circulated 1935 Philadelphia penny is not automatically a rare coin simply because it is more than 90 years old. But don't make the mistake of thinking that means every 1935 penny is worthless. Coin collecting doesn't work that way. 2 coins can have exactly the same date and still have completely different values. One may have spent decades circulating through pockets, cash registers, drawers, and coin jars. Its surface may be covered with scratches, its original color may be gone, and the highest details of Lincoln's portrait may show heavy wear. Another 1935 penny could have been protected for almost its entire life. Its surfaces may still be exceptionally clean, its original reddish color may have survived. Lincoln's hair and facial details may remain extremely sharp. The wheat lines on the reverse may be crisp and attractive. Suddenly, you are no longer comparing 2 ordinary pennies. You are comparing condition. And condition can be one of the biggest factors in the value of an old Lincoln cent. This is why you should never look at a 1935 wheat penny and immediately say, it's only 1 cent. The correct question is, what condition is this coin in? Now turn your coin over and look carefully at the reverse. Those 2 wheat ears are one of the easiest ways to recognize the classic Lincoln wheat penny. Look at the lettering. Look around the rim. Look at the wheat lines. Look for unusual doubling or other features that appear to be part of the original striking rather than damage that happened later. And remember something extremely important. A strange-looking mark does not automatically mean you have a valuable error coin. A scratch is a scratch. A dent is a dent. Damage from a machine or another coin is not automatically a mint error. A genuine variety or doubled die has to be identified by its specific characteristics. PCGS lists recognized 1935 doubled die obverse varieties, including FS101 examples. So if your 1935 penny appears to show unusual doubling around the lettering or other areas, don't immediately believe a huge price claim you see online. Examine it carefully and compare it with a properly identified example. Now look at the mint mark. This tiny detail can tell you where your coin was made. A D means Denver. An S means San Francisco. And no mint mark indicates Philadelphia. The 1935 Denver and San Francisco issues had much lower production than the Philadelphia issue, with approximately 47 million Denver cents and 38.7 million San Francisco cents produced. That doesn't automatically make every D or S coin rare, but mint marks are important when collectors identify and compare coins from the same year. Now let's talk about the part that gets people excited: value. You may hear claims online that an old wheat penny is worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions. But don't assume your coin is worth that amount simply because someone mentioned a huge number. The real story is much more interesting. The ordinary circulated 1935 penny can be relatively inexpensive, but extremely high-grade examples are a completely different category. PCGS reports an extraordinary 1935 Philadelphia Lincoln cent graded MS 68 plus red that sold for $84,000 in January 2025. Think about that for a moment. A coin with a face value of 1 cent can become extremely valuable when it combines the right date, exceptional preservation, high grade, and strong collector demand. But that doesn't mean every 1935 penny is worth $84,000. That price belongs to an exceptional certified example, not an ordinary dirty coin found in a drawer. And this is exactly why I don't want you to clean your coin. If your 1935 wheat penny is dark, dirty, brown, or covered with old surface discoloration, leave it alone. Don't use toothpaste. Don't polish it. Don't scrape it. Don't use chemicals. Don't try to make it shine. A collector would rather examine an original surface than a coin that has been permanently damaged by cleaning. If you think your penny might be special, put it somewhere safe and handle it by the edges. Then inspect the date. Check the mint mark. Look at the condition. Look at the color. Study Lincoln's portrait. Turn it over and examine the wheat ears. Then look closely at the lettering for anything that appears unusual. And if you believe you have an exceptional example, professional authentication and grading can be worth considering. Because sometimes the most valuable part of a coin isn't what you can see immediately. It is the combination of date, mint, variety, preservation, and rarity. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. A 1935 wheat penny might be sitting inside an old collection that has been forgotten for decades. Maybe it belonged to a parent or grandparent. Maybe someone found it in an old jar. Maybe it was sitting in a box of pennies that nobody had touched for years. And that is the emotional side of collecting. You're not just looking at 1 cent. You're holding something that passed through American life almost a century ago. It was produced during a difficult period in American history. People used these pennies to buy everyday necessities, and countless examples traveled from one person to another before eventually disappearing into collections. Today, most people would probably walk past one without thinking twice. But a collector sees something different. They see the date. They see the design. They see the condition. And they wonder what story that little coin might still have. So if you have a 1935 Lincoln wheat penny, don't make the mistake of judging it only by its face value. Look closely. If it is heavily worn, it may be an ordinary collectible. If it has a mint mark, identify where it was produced. If it has beautiful original color and extremely sharp details, pay much more attention. And if you notice a possible double die or unusual variety, don't clean the coin and don't sell it based on a random internet claim. Identify it first. Because the real treasure in coin collecting isn't believing that every old penny is a fortune. The real treasure is knowing why one coin is ordinary, while another coin can become highly desirable to collectors. So before you spend that old 1935 Lincoln wheat penny, stop. Look at the date. Look for the mint mark. Check Lincoln's condition. Turn it over. Study those wheat ears. Look closely at the lettering. And most importantly, don't clean it before you know what you have. Because it may be an ordinary old penny, but if you happen to have an unusually well-preserved example or a recognized variety, that tiny 1-cent coin deserves a much closer look. And sometimes, the smallest coins are the ones that make collectors look twice. Next coin detail, see my next video.